Today, I'm going to go over my predictions for Zach Wilson in the second half of this season. Hey, what's going on? I am Matt O'Leary, back with another video, and today I am projecting Zach Wilson's numbers over the rest of the year and going through what I think he can do against some of these opponents. Before we get started today, I just want to mention you can follow on social media at Matt O'Leary NY, and if you haven't already, please make sure to check out the Just Jets podcast. Also, this video is brought to you by BUSR, the official sportsbook of Matt O'Leary NY. Please make sure to check out the link down below, busr.com/Matt. If you sign up and you deposit $100, you are entered to win tickets to the Chicago Bears versus the New York Jets matchup in a couple of weeks. Terms and conditions are down below in the description. All right, so I'm going to pull up the numbers and kind of go game by game and kind of look at what I think Zach can do and why I think he can do just that. So let's pull up the numbers. Obviously, the top row is what he's at right now, 96 completions, 167 attempts, 57.5 completion percentage, 1,200 yards, 7.2 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and a 200.3 yards per attempt. 200.3 yards per game, excuse me. So I have the rest of the schedule. There are a couple of tougher defenses that they have to go up against the rest of the way, specifically New England and Buffalo again, who they kind of just took care or just played. He was okay against Buffalo, and against New England really struggled. So here's what I think is going to happen the rest of the way. Against New England, I think they go back to trying not to throw the ball too much. So I said 16 to 24, which is a 66.7 completion percentage, 175 yards, 7.3 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, which is an okay performance. I think if you get that, you're pretty satisfied, and I think you could win that way. Not asking him to do a whole lot. Now, Chicago is one of those teams where I look at and I say that they leave some to be desired. So I think they'll throw a little bit more, 19 to 30, 63.3 completion, 275 yards. So a nice day passing, a better day passing, 9.2 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, no picks. That would be one of Zach Wilson's, if not Zach Wilson's, best performance to date. Against Minnesota, I think the Jets will be down in this game, and I'm predicting the Jets lose this game. The first 2 games, I think the Jets win at New England and versus Chicago, but I think the Jets lose this game, so they'll throw a little bit more. And I have him 22 of 35, a 62.9 completion percentage, 261 yards, which is 7.5 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, which is not bad, pretty solid. Against Buffalo, in Buffalo, I think he will struggle slightly, 15 of 28, which is a 53.6 completion percentage, 154 yards, which is 5.5 yards per attempt, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. So this is the only time where I have Zach, 1, not throwing a touchdown, and 2, throwing an interception, completion percentage below 60%, and it's obviously not. That would be a poor performance, not as bad as what it was when the wheels fell off. The point that I'm trying to make here, and I'll go over everything at the end, is I think Zach Wilson kind of settles into his own after the bye, and kind of is more like the player we saw against the Buffalo Bills last week. But this game against Buffalo, I think he'll struggle. But I think he bounces back with his career best game against the Detroit Lions, who give up points and yards like it's going out of style. 23 of 32, a 71.9 completion percentage, 315 yards, 9.8 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, no picks. That is some pretty gaudy numbers. So I think he clears 300 yards one more time this year, and I think that would be a really nice performance. That would have to make you feel pretty good. I think they beat Detroit. I think they beat Jacksonville as well. 19 to 29, 65.5 completion percentage, 215 yards, 7.4 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, no picks. At Seattle, I think they go back to trying to run the ball a little bit more. I don't think they're going to have to throw a ton. So I have 17 to 28, 60.7 completion percentage, 192 yards, 6.9 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. And at Miami, the final week of the year, I think they are going to have to throw the ball a little bit against that Miami Dolphins team, because we know how dangerous they are with Tua, with Jalen Waddle, and with Tyreek Hill. So I think they throw the ball 44 times. I'll say 25 of 44, 56.8 completion percentage, 285 passing yards, which is pretty good. You sign up for that at 6.5 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So that would give a total on the season of 252 completions, 417 attempts, 60.4 yards per attempt, just over 3,000 yards, so 3,074, 7.4 yards per attempt, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, which is 219.6 yards per game. That would be slightly above where he's at right now. Obviously, he's at 200.3 yards per game. If you do that on a per game basis, that's roughly for the season 18 of 30, 60.4 completion percentage, 219.6 yards, 7.4 yards per attempt, 1.1 touchdown to 0.6 interception. And if you were to pace that over a 17 game season, which I know that some people are going to be interested in what this season would look like over 17 instead of over the 14 games. 306 by 506, 60.4 completion percentage, 3,733 yards, 7.4 yards per attempt, 19 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And that's not a finished product by any stretch of the imagination. It is a nice step in the right direction towards being a better player. But that's a very Jimmy G-like season, which right now, that's kind of really just what the Jets need from Zach Wilson. They kind of just need him to be a game manager, which is kind of why I'm predicting, roughly for the most part, game manager like numbers the rest of the way, except for there's a couple, I pick and choose my spots. Minnesota, I think they'll, against Chicago and Minnesota, I think they'll be able to throw a lot. Against Detroit, I think they'll be able to throw a lot. And against Miami, I think they're going to have to throw a lot, and that defense does is prone to giving up points and yardage. So would you sign? I guess my question is, would you sign up for this if at the end of the year Zach Wilson's numbers look like this? If you think differently, let me know down below what you think Zach Wilson's final tally is going to look like. Here's my template. You can go game by game. You can go just total at the end. I kind of just wanted to give my updated expectations and just overall thoughts on what we'd see from Zach in the second half of the year. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I am Matt O'Leary, and I will catch you next time.